The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
All right, Chili Peppers closing out Lollapalooza, and we're just seconds away, Brian and Kenzie, from giving you tickets for today. And the 1975, you will view them from a special viewing area. And that's all coming up about 120 seconds here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So first, we're talking about products that you bought that didn't live up from the advertising. It started with the story about Taco Bell getting sued because the Crunch Wrap doesn't have as much stuff in it as the commercial shows, which I think is hilarious.
It's less crunchy than it should be.
It's so funny someone was sober enough or not high enough to figure out that, hey, this doesn't figure everything. It's not the same. But what products were like that with you, Amber? Ahoy, Amber.
Ahoy. The Skechers Shape-Up shoes.
Oh, those ones with the big round kind of bottom on them?
Yes. So they're supposed to help, support your back and your heel and help you, obviously, shape up. And all I found myself doing was having a bad back, tripping over nothing, which I became great entertainment for my friends. They would constantly point out, oh, ghost hole, because I would just trip over nothing. They weren't good to use for long periods of time. I was so excited to get them, and they were just, so disappointing.
I had a buddy, I was just telling Kenzie when I saw you getting ready to call in about this, I had a buddy that weighed about 400 pounds, and he bought those because they just bounced. He just walked around like he didn't have your problem where he would trip because he weighed so much.
Because they, rocked him faster?
He almost could just, move toward, the refrigerator without really walking.
You're mean.
If he was here, he would tell the story. He would rip on himself even more. It wasn't.
Would he?
Yes, he would.
Call him.
I'll call him. His name's Paul. His name's Paul.
I mean, they were fun to rock back and forth, and you would just find yourself kind of standing there, rocking back and forth just because of the shape of them. But they just were not comfortable.
Yeah. What were they supposed to do? They were supposed to help your back and lose weight.
They were supposed to be shaped for the way that you walk. Is supposed to increase losing weight, and I guess get you excited to maybe go out there and walk more. So I thought, hey, what the heck, why not? I had kids growing up, and we were always busy, so I figured if I just added this one extra thing to kind of help out, that would help, and it definitely did not.
No. You still have a pair laying around?
I'm probably sure I probably gave them to Goodwill, so I'm sure someone else is probably tripping somewhere else over a ghost hole.
Yeah, good job passing those along. Yeah.
Right.
To somebody else. All right. Well, thanks for checking in, Amber. Appreciate you. Glad you moved on to regular shoes. Kelly's checking in from the region. Kelly, ahoy.
Ahoy.
So what product didn't live up to the advertising that you bought?
Well, I didn't buy it. It was my boyfriend, and it was Frank Thomas's Nugenics.
Those commercials are amazing.
They are amazing. Now, you got to understand, my boyfriend is probably 6 foot tall, 150 pounds, soaking ass wet.
Okay, skinny little bean.
Yes, he is. So when he seen these commercials, he thought, wow, Frank Thomas, you see that, man? He is so meaty. And it's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, I'm getting this stuff. And I swear he bought 4 months of these pills, and 2 months of them are sitting out on the counter.
Oh.
Because he never beefed up. He wanted to be Frank Thomas.
He never got jacked. I'll tell you what, I stood next to Frank Thomas one time. He is a mountain of a man, and he's one of the ones that did not do steroids. I mean, he's completely in all the trials. He was the one that didn't do it with all the baseball players, and now all of a sudden he was doing the Nugenics commercials, the Total T, the testosterone, and he is enormous, Frank Thomas.
He is enormous. Now, the thing is, during that commercial, he looks at the lady at the side and says, and the ladies love it, too.
Listen, hang on a second. This might bring back some PTSD for you. I have the Nugenics commercial. It's not that one, but at the end, he still says something to the guy. They're in an airport, and the wife recognizes Frank Thomas.
Hey, isn't that Frank Thomas?
Yeah, the big hurt.
Wowza.
She goes, wowza!
Frank Thomas?
Oh, hi there.
Well, you look like you could still be playing.
I know, right?
Well, I'm feeling a lot stronger and leaner with a lot more energy and drive. So what's your secret? Nugenics Total T.
Wish my husband used it.
He can. It's easy. Just send a text.
If you're a guy over 40, text to...
We blocked out the text number because I don't know if it's still active.
Complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product.
All right.
Nugenics Total T is
Here comes the line to the husband.
Formula ever, because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone to help you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive.
Here, try a bottle. And trust me, she'll like it too.
Yikes.
Does that bring any?
That's the line.
That's it. Yeah, she'll love it too.
And Amber's like, I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. Feel
Yeah, I
that.
do not like 2 bottles sitting on my counter for 4 months.
Oh my God.
She'll like it too.
You'll like it too.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
With Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now time for You Choose what we talk about next. It's basically I give you 2 headlines, and which one do you want to hear more about? We will not talk about the other story that you do not choose. So you text in at 312-591-8300. Just say headline 1 or headline 2. And I'm going to give you those headlines right now. Headline number 1. Man shot twice in one night during separate meetups with his girlfriend.
Jesus.
That's headline number 1. Vote for that one if you want to hear that story, the more on it. Or headline number 2, our bears are real, a Chinese zoo says, denying they are humans in disguise. That's
Why is that a conversation?
That's headline number 2. So which story do you want to hear more about in your car right now, wherever you're at home, on your smart speaker, whatever? 312-591-8300. Text in headline number 1 or headline number 2.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Well, listen, you guys decide the content right now here on Q101 with Brian and Kenzie. As before the break, I told you, which story do you want to hear more about? You say headline number 1 or 2. You text it in. Boy, we got a lot of responses, about 370 texts on this one. And the headlines were, okay, here we go. Headline number 1, man shot twice in one night during separate meetups with his girlfriend. Okay. Kenzie, it's not funny. You got shot.
It's not funny.
Or headline number 2, our bears are real, a Chinese zoo says, denying they are, quote, humans in disguise.
Oh, my God.
Now, this was really close with the
It was.
370-some texts on headline number 1, headline number 2, but it came out. The winner is there a winner here?
You ready?
The winner is man shot twice in one night during separate meetups with his girlfriend. So that's the story you're going to get. Sorry you won't hear about the bears, but there probably will be some pictures you got to look at Q101.com.
The plot may thicken when the Bears speak out anyways next week.
Might do a follow-up. So here we go. This comes from San Antonio. And a man is hospitalized after being shot several times while visiting his girlfriend on the northwest side of San Antonio. The shooting happened at about 3 a.m. Monday at a home along Deer Trail Creek near Kubler Road. Police said when they arrived, they found a man with 2 gunshot wounds to his leg. He told police that his girlfriend called and told him to meet her at the house. 3 a.m., by the way. But when he showed up, a group of men started shooting at him. The men all got out of an older model truck and drove off. They called the police. He did. Not his girlfriend. And when the police got there, he said, the same thing also happened to me earlier in the night. Around 11 p.m. Sunday. His girlfriend asked him to meet her at a nearby gas station off the same road. 4 hours later, when he arrived, his girlfriend was there. And guess what happened? A group of guys opened fire on him who got out of a truck. He was able to drive off without being shot during the first incident of the evening. Other shocker of the story, police took the woman into custody.
You think?
And her name was Kenzie Kerr.
No, it was not.
Now, there's so much to the story of what was going on. Obviously, she didn't like her boyfriend anymore
Oh, my God.
and set a meetup at 11.
I want to know so bad.
We've got to...
So bad why twice she hired an entire squad of hitmen.
Twice!
And why he came back the third. Why he got shot at and got away, and it was a setup. And 4 hours later, he meets up with his girlfriend again.
Can I tell you that Kenzie was hyperventilating during the break when I read her the details of that story? If you're
couldn't breathe.
If you're watching on YouTube, our camera's going. She almost passed out.
I was crying.
Of a story that's, horrific, of somebody getting shot.
Oh, my God.
But the guy got ambushed at 11 p.m. and he went back again at 3 a.m. because the girl, that's a determined woman. She hired hitmen and they didn't get him.
She knew her boyfriend was stupid enough that
To
she
come
could get him.
3 I promise you something here. I promise you, as a broadcaster, as a journalist, as an entertainer, we're going to book this guy on the show next week somehow.
I want to get him on the show.
We have to talk to him.
All right, that's the thing Case has to deal with. Now look at his
Case,
face.
I don't have his name.
He gets so mad every time you say things that he's going to have to be in charge of.
Listen.
All right, you get on that this weekend, but we're relaxing.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Have you ever heard anything like that before? I don't know, but we're going to get this guy on.
Have I ever hired hitmen?
No. I've never heard anything close to that or in the same night.
Could you go to the cops? He's like, this just happened a few hours.
Yeah, right. You're interviewing someone about being shot, and he goes, you know what's wild? It's just down the street. The same thing happened to me 4 hours earlier. How'd you get there? My girlfriend told me to meet up. What happened? Group of guys got out of a truck and shot at me.
Same ones.
Same ones. Same guys. There you go. You now know more of the story, and we will get to the bottom of this one. I can tell you that. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and boy, I meant to have a song ready to go here. Dang it. The Pour One Out song. Damn it. Could have had it ready here because of all of you who scared me away from buying a mold-ridden house with water damage and needed a lot of work, be it with windows, carpeting need to be ripped up. But it was my dream home that I stumbled on last weekend. I talked about this a couple days ago, on Monday actually, because I found this place that needed tons of work and the price was so low because it needed tons of work. But once I mentioned it had mold and water damage, everybody said you can't do that. A lot of our qualified listeners out there that have done homework and done things, not just professional rebuilders, but you watch an HGTV show, you go on YouTube and you fix your house up. Every single person said, don't do it because the water damage could lead to a lot of problems. Well, I'll tell you, my friends, this house that I looked at last weekend went under contract yesterday.
Yeah.
It was in foreclosure, so I don't know what the price is yet, what the bank took, but I could have done it, but I listened to you guys, and I didn't. You, Kenzie, you, Case.
A millionaire probably purchased it, and they're just going to tear the whole thing down. They just want the land.
No, because there's somebody, it's a 2-flat, so somebody lives in the bottom.
Okay, so if you have, I sent you a link to that castle house that's for sale. Did you see that?
I did, in Barrington?
Yeah, was it in Barrington?
I can't remember.
Forget. But it's going for $1.9 million. And
okay,
I figured,
that's out of my budget.
No, but by the time you finished the repairs that place needed, that would have been the cost.
Oh, I put a picture of the view up. Actually, I didn't because I didn't want people to target it and buy it because
Well, too late. That didn't work.
Now I should just put the address up there and just put it up there.
Let people see the house.
Yeah, because I didn't.
What does it matter?
Well, I drew a picture of the view because our IT guy, Steve Pacheco, said, don't put that picture up because people can geo-target it and they will buy the house instead of you. Well, now the house is gone. Now it's gone, so maybe I'll put a picture up of the view of the house I didn't get. Had a beautiful northwest view down skyline of the Sears Tower and Hancock Building and a church head there. Right neighborhood, big space. All I needed was a little bit of elbow grease there. I could have cleaned up the mold, put some Lysol on it.
Than elbow grease.
God, now I'm sitting here renting again. Now I'm done. Now I got to rent again. I mean, I'm already renting anyway, but I can't buy a place because everything's too expensive. Can anybody relate out there to what's going on with me? Did someone have a success story of buying something that was in trouble? You took a high risk. No risk, no reward. I've lived my life like that. And I didn't hear.
Actually, you've taken a few risks that haven't worked out really well. Remember when you bought that investment property?
Oh, my God.
A long time ago.
I did. I bought something near Wrigley Field, a little studio apartment, and I thought how could something by Wrigley Field go down in price? And it did because the housing crisis happened and I lost everything. I had to start over.
So that scenario.
Okay, that's a bad one. But
didn't you invest in some other stuff that didn't work out too?
Invited AOL stock a little bit too late.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a millionaire, and that went to zero.
So I feel like you've done the risk part a couple times, and you kind of did take a risk and have no reward has kind of been your life.
But you got to keep taking risks, right? I mean, you got to do that. Otherwise, why are we here? I mean, I can't take the money with me, and if I lost it all, I guess I'll start over.
Harper could use it.
Harper could use it. She needs diapers and baby formula.
Yeah,
I get it.
College.
Yeah. Does anybody have good stories about taking a risk and it paid off for you? Like a good risk story. It doesn't have to be about buying a house or stock or anything. It could just be something in your life, a job. I'd love to hear the good stories because my story was bad. So another bad ending for Brian. But maybe a good story at 312-591-8300. A good risk story. I don't know. I'm just I'd love to hear the positivity on it going into the weekend because I lost this house. I'm depressed. I'm a little depressed.
You want to hear my good risk story?
I'd love to hear it.
So when my husband and I came up with the idea for the MVP game, right? Like we created the show.
And what is that again?
So it's like a game show that's on the Marquee Sports Network, the Cubs network. But we had an idea for the show. We didn't know what network it would end up with. We just knew it would be sports related. But, there's plenty of sports networks, right? So it could be lots of different teams or whatever. And so when, Marquee liked the show, they were like, yeah, we'll take a few episodes. But they didn't give us the money up front to pay everybody. So we essentially emptied every dollar we had.
Wow.
And between the pilot and the first episode, because we knew they'd pay for it, but it took months to get on payroll and get imagine that and to pay everyone. But you can't tell the production companies and hair and makeup and music that they're not going to get paid for months.
Yeah.
So while we were planning our own wedding and paying for our own wedding, we emptied every single dollar we had into paying for our own show. That'll probably come back, right? We were very nervous. Every dollar.
That's good.
It was gone.
You took a risk and it was scary.
Yeah.
But you did it and it paid off because the show is on TV now. It's on the Marquee Network. Or maybe it didn't pay off.
It did, but it took a long time because they'd ordered more episodes by then. So even by the time they paid us, we had to use that money to pay for more episodes. We didn't make $1 on our TV show for the first 9+ months.
Wow.
It was all shelled out money.
And really not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's healthy. Why do your risks work out and mine don't?
I don't know. Maybe because I think things through and you're like, Mold House, I want to buy it.
Mold House. Does sound like a good name. I don't know. I just love to hear people that take risks and it pays off. I love hearing these success stories. Congratulations. When's the MVP game on? Is there this week? Is it on sometime?
I know we just had a marathon yesterday, so I do not have the next date.
All right, we'll get that for you. But
bad.
I'd love to hear from you.
For sure.
I'd love to hear these success stories. 312-591-8300.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Just under 20 minutes away from 9 a.m. That's your chance to get to the Aftershock Festival, the Heavy Music Festival. If you love all those bands like Avenged Sevenfold, Tool, Queens of the Stone Age is there. A 4-day trip can be yours. 9 a.m. It's coming up with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Talking about the Mold House, as it's now known, that I didn't get. It was under foreclosure. I could have got this house and put money into it, and it would have been worth a lot of money down the road, but I didn't take the risk, and now someone else bought it. I just saw it went under contract. The bank owns it, now someone else owns it, and someone else is going to live that dream. So I want to hear about you.
It could fall through.
And then am I going to go for it again?
Go buy your death traps. He's out complaining.
312-591-8300. When did you take a risk and it paid off? 630 checked in. I was in a career for 5 years, decided it wasn't where my heart was, quit my job with no backup, live with my boyfriend, and then used my savings that I had left, and now I make a bunch of money as a coder.
Oh, cool.
I do computer code. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, taking risks. We're only here once, right? So you got to go through and take a risk, but it's tough. Like you decided, you said there, did I take the right move? And you should try to have no regrets. Lainey's checking in from Manuka. Lainey, ahoy.
Hi.
Hi. What's your risk-reward story?
When I was 18, I had just started dating this guy, and about a week into our relationship, my parents kicked me out. And I decided that since it was his birthday, the day they kicked me out, I would just go spend his birthday with him, stay the night at his house, and then go and find somewhere else to stay the next day, see if one of my friends would let me room with them. And when I told him my plan, he says, well, why don't you just come live with me? And I said, well, we just started dating. I don't know if that's a very good idea. And he says, no, it'll be okay. Like, I don't think we're going to break up, but if we do, we can just have a cordial roommate agreement until you can find your own place. You know, I can be cordial. You can be cordial. We're both adults. And so I agreed, and I moved in, and now we're married with a 2-year-old.
Whoa.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's a pretty big risk, even though it seems like you guys are really adult about it, but it's a pretty big risk to move in with somebody when you barely know them, because you don't know. We watch the news at night, see what happens. It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, we had mutual friends, so I kind of knew, I knew he was a good guy, and I knew who he was, and I wasn't, that concerned about it, but I'm really glad I took the risk.
All right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, taking risks. Why did your parents kick you out of the house? I'm just curious.
I decided to pick a fight with my mom.
Over what?
And I kind of mouthed off to her. So I was I have physical disabilities, and I went to the hospital because I was having a lot of pain. And while I was there, because I was 18 and I was a know-it-all, I just decided, you know what? I don't actually want to get this pain treated. I'm just going to go home and take some Tylenol and go to bed. And my mom was like, if you're going to keep having us take you to the emergency room and then decide you don't want to stay because you're waiting too long and you're bored, then you can just go find somewhere else to live.
Jeez.
I mean, kind of valid, though. You understand why she was a little mad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to get the full story, and I got it, and you were right. They were a good job.
Yeah, I mean, they footed every emergency room bill, so I understand why they wanted
They're
me
like,
out.
you could wait while we're paying for it. That'd be nice.
All right, well, thanks for checking in. Appreciate the risk-reward stories. Always make me feel good. Like Joe checking in from Chicago. Joe, ahoy.
Hi, good morning.
Awesome. What's your risk-reward story?
Well, the risk was that I went into a relationship super, super young, like in my teens. Fast forward a decade and some years later, we separate, and I was left with all the debt. And I started paying off my debt.
Before you continue, give us a number on that debt.
40 grand.
Woof.
That was 40 grand in debt. And I started looking into buying a home, and obviously that dragged me down. So I had to start paying it off, and I did. So as of last week, Monday, I am officially debt free because I took on two full-time jobs all of 2022 and half of 2023. So now that I've paid everything off, now I'm able to breathe a little bit and start looking into buying a home. So it's been rough, but I mean, what
Good
didn't
for
kill
you.
me
Way
only made me
to
weaker.
go, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I got a mold house for you if you want it.
Yeah, do you want to work on that for him? Get a third job? Because he's not
I
going to
mean,
want to put in the
I have
effort?
asthma.
Oh, see.
It ain't easy being wheezy,
You tried to kill Joe. You tried to kill Joe.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.